What is going on, fam? How are you doing? Can you hear me? I hope you guys can can hear me. Let's see if if the sound is good. Let's just check to make sure that the sound is good. The sound is good, right? Yeah, you guys can hear me. You guys can hear me. Just pop off in the chat if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, just let me know. Just pop it off in the chat. But I think on my side, everything is good. The last time I tried this, I recorded my voice like I don't know, like when you record audio coming from the computer, and then I was also speaking to the mic, so that kind of messed up things a bit. But anyway, welcome, fam. Welcome. I'll try not to shout into the mic as well, just so that you can actually hear what I'm saying. But welcome to today's stream. We're talking about how to design and create your own custom meal plans. So the last week we covered the fundamentals, the history behind food, nutrition, and how we've evolved essentially from what God had intended for us and to where we are today. And we also covered how to set up MyFitnessPal, setting up your profile, setting up your account, and also setting your goals using MyFitnessPal. And so today we actually want to create our first meal plan using all the information that we have now, because now you've probably created your profile, you set your goals like your calories, your macros. So we're not going to cover everything else that we already covered, but we'll just carry on. And if you're just joining us for the first time, just make sure to go back to watch the first video. And I created a playlist, how to use MyFitnessPal, so you can click the playlist tab on YouTube and you'll be able to find the playlist with all the videos compiled as well. So we are going to get started with designing our meal plans. And what we want to do, so today I'm actually going to use the desktop version for us to clearly see what's going on, because I think on the phone it's a little bit harder to really see what's going on. So I'll do it on the phone, on the desktop version, because I can easily share the screen. So as you recall, last stream, we set up the profile, right? So we'll go back to profile here on desktop. So I put profile. Okay, so this is Nate, and this one is a female. This was a profile for a female. And now I'm going to go back to edit profile. So this is just random. This is not really me. So this is all random. So we're going to say save changes. Excuse me. So that's it. And then settings. We're going to go to settings if you wanted to update anything. And then we're going to update the diet profile. So in settings, you can update diet profile. So starting weight was 121 pounds, which is going to be the same as the current weight. And then height is 5'5". Goal weight is 145 pounds. So she's looking to gain about 24 pounds. And yeah, so she's about 32 years old. Lifestyle, sedentary. So spending most of the day sitting. So bank teller, desk job. So that's sedentary. So you'd pick whichever level of activity that you currently have. So that's what you'd pick. And how many times per week are you planning on exercising and for how long? So that's what you'd put. And then what is your goal? So what we inputted on the phone, on MyFitnessPal on the phone, is still the same. So what we want to do now is match our meal plan and our recipes that we pick with the calories, with the macros. So the total calories will be 2,260, right? And the carbohydrates will be 198 grams. Fats 88 grams, protein 170 grams. So we're going to call this plan Emily's plan, and this is going to be Emily's plan. So now, when we're planning meals, so if you're using MyFitnessPal, you can plan your meals and split up your calories by meal. So last in the last stream or the first stream, I talked about how you can time your meals depending on what your goal is. So when you are actually trying to lose weight, you're going to be eating less calories than you actually burn. So which means that you're going to be in a caloric deficit, and that's likely going to result in periods through the day where your energy is going to dip, right? It's going to go up, it's going to go down, depending on how much sleep you had, how much rest you had. So you'd want to plan out your calories, how you distribute your calories throughout the day based on what your goal is, and depending on what activities you're doing. So depending on what time you work out as well. If you're going to the gym later in the day, maybe you want to push your calories to later in the day. And yeah, so you just figure out what makes the most sense based on your work and your lifestyle. So yeah, so and then obviously you're gonna have like your fitness. You're gonna have your fitness here. You're likely gonna burn some calories depending on what you're using for tracking. Most apps are not as accurate, but once you use, let's say, an Apple Watch, the era that it shows you, that it gives you, it's going to be consistent. So if you use an Apple Watch, because I know people say, okay, yeah, like Apple Watch overestimates how much you burn. So if you're using a Whoop or Fitbit, doesn't matter what it is, just use a consistent fitness tracking tool if you're tracking your calories, and then you can update, and it's going to help you understand how much you're actually burning and if you're eating enough, because we are eventually going to have to do adjustments. Once you see the results after each week, you see the results, then you adjust maybe on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, depending on how far off you are from the actual results that you're looking at achieving or looking to get. Okay, so micronutrients, we talked about micronutrients. So this is all here, this is all laid out, still under your goals. So now we're going to go back to home. We are going back to a home. So this is, again, the dashboard for a home feed. So you got your calories, you got your macros. So these, you can only access them with premium subscription. And it does help to have premium subscription, but it's not the end all if you don't have premium subscription. So what I'm going to do now is to come over here to food, right? So as you can see, so you can plan your meals. So right now you already have this table, which has breakfast, right? You've got your calories, carbs, protein, sodium, and you have the total right here. So like your daily goal remaining 198 for carbs. For fat, you're going to have, 88, and protein 170 and 200, 2385. Because again, if her goal is 145 pounds, protein has to be at least 1 to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. So that's how much protein Emily has to have in a meal plan. So now we're going to look at, okay, breakfast. Emily needs to have breakfast. So one of the things that is important, because sometimes people say, oh, it's too expensive to eat healthy. Oh, I can't eat healthy because I don't have a variety of different foods that I can eat. Well, it's not that expensive, and you can have a wide variety of different foods that you can actually eat. And it just requires planning. And that is exactly why we are recording this video. and I'll show you some recipes that you can use to make sure that your food is always tasting great, and meals that you can swap in and out at any time, right? So, the first thing that you want to do before you even start filling out here is you want to create a grocery list. Select food that you enjoy eating and food that's going to help you achieve your goals. So, the first thing that anyone would need is to figure out, okay, what is the kind of food that I'm going to have, right? So I've got a library here for like healthy whole foods. So with this list, I broke it down into like carbs, fats, protein, veggies, fruits. So, and then you also have this template, right, that you can fill out. So very similar to what MyFitnessPal has. So if you're someone who's like, okay, I just want to do it on paper, I don't want to use MyFitnessPal, you can still do it, right? So you can use like a template and just add your meals and you know what your meal plan looks like, right? So this is something that you can utilize. So the first thing when you're working on a meal plan is you need to pick your protein first. Pick your protein, and when you pick your protein, it makes it easier for you to prioritize and hit your protein goal for the day, because protein is probably one of the hardest things to make sure that you have in your diet consistently. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to pick out what our meal plan is going to be. So for like breakfast, if I'm thinking like, okay, breakfast, I want to have some protein in the morning. The question is, what am I going to have for breakfast? So the first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, I want to have eggs. And let's see. So eggs have roughly, let's say 3 eggs, roughly 18 grams of protein. So I'm going to go whole eggs right here. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go add food. I'm going to go, oh, already had eggs. So I'm going to go eggs. So this was the meal, the fried egg that we added the last time. So I'm going to go eggs. I'm going to put 3. I'm going to add the coconut oil, right? And then I'm going to come back and say, okay, what else do you want to eat for breakfast? Maybe 1 cup of egg whites. So that'll give me about 26 grams. Let's see, egg whites. Let's see if I go. And then serving size, I'm going to see, okay, what is the serving size? What am I using? So over here, I want to use this table here with all of this food. So I'm seeing here, this is 1 cup. Let's see 1 cup, what that gives me. Okay, so I'm going to go add. Oh, we just added those. Okay, so I still need my eggs. Okay, let's see. Oh, 3. Okay, egg whites were already added. Okay, boom. So I'm gonna go add checked, right? So now I'm already at 46. So if I was to think about, okay, my goal, so I've got 124, I'm at 46, 124, that's remaining. I've got 46 grams. So which is good for protein is good. And then for fats, we've used up 35 grams of fat, and remaining is 53. So now we want to figure out, okay, what can we add? What carbs can we add to a breakfast that don't actually have that don't have fats, because of fats like 35 grams already. So I'm going to come back to my grocery list. So I'm going to go back to the carbs. Now I'm going to look at this table, see, okay, what carbs can I eat that don't have high fat for breakfast? What would I eat for breakfast that doesn't have a lot of fat and too much protein? Let's see. Hmm. So these are all carbs. So depending on your taste, what you want for breakfast, you can have, let's see, maybe I'll say, hmm, this is tough. Because usually for me, like breakfast, I have like, I'd say just oatmeal. Where's oatmeal? Let's see, I think we had oatmeal. Where's oatmeal? Hmm. Okay, so we can add oatmeal, or you can add fruit. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna add a banana, eggs, banana, medium. I'm gonna go oatmeal and banana. Let's say Kirkland. So these are just Costco. Uh, no, oatmeal. Okay, so I'm gonna go 1 cup or half a cup. Okay, so let's go add to diary. Oh, we added 2 bananas. Okay, so that was a problem. Okay. Okay, so oatmeal, 5 grams. Okay, so that's good. Okay. So now I'm going to go and add a banana to go with the oatmeal. And the oatmeal, I'm just going to add water into the oatmeal. So we should be fine if we do that. And add nutrition. Okay, so boom. Nutrition info. Okay, add to library. Okay, boom. So we've got we've got our banana, we've got our oatmeal, we've got our 3 eggs, we've got a coconut oil. Okay, so let's remove that. So I think we exaggerated that. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I think our numbers were a bit inflated because we d added double. So this is egg whites. Okay, so we've got our banana, we've got our Kirkland oatmeal, we've got our 3 eggs, we've got our coconut oil, we've got our egg whites, 1 cup. So now we're sitting at 696 calories, 55 grams of carbs, 28 grams of fat, 52 grams of protein, and 593 milligrams of sodium and 19 grams of sugar. So, this is a good breakfast to get you started, to get you going. And it's good. It's got high protein. You know, you've got your carbs and you've got a bit of some sugar from the banana. So, as you can tell, like you don't need to intentionally add a ton of fats into your diet because most of the food that we eat already contains fats. So the main thing that we want to focus on is the carbs and the protein. That's what we want to focus on to make sure that we're balancing everything, especially for Emily, who's trying to gain about 24 pounds. So now we've got the breakfast sorted out. And let's see over here. So we're going to go remember meal, right? And name this meal. We're going to say egg, eggs and oatmeal breakfast. Right? So we're saving this meal. So this meal is saved. Boom, done. So now, you've had your breakfast, you've had a couple meetings, and maybe you're feeling like, okay, I gotta eat. I'm a little bit tired now. And I feel like, okay, I need to eat before I get into my next meeting in the afternoon before my lunchtime. And maybe you need to do some prep work for the meeting. So now you're going to want to re energize because maybe this meal you've had it just before you left home. And now it's like midday, maybe it's like 11. You're like, okay, I gotta get into the next meeting after lunchtime, so I gotta fuel up. So now we want to figure out, okay, what are we fueling up? And most likely, you've already done the prep at home. You've already cooked this food the night prior or the weekend prior if you're doing meal prep for a couple of days. But the most important thing is you want to already have your meals planned out and ready to go. Okay, so now we're going to figure out, okay, so what are we going to add for our meals? So now we're going to go back to a protein to see what we can add for a meal. And we are going to add, okay, protein. Yeah, we got to go to protein. So you want to pick the protein choice that's going to help you reach your goals and as fast as possible. So right now I'm seeing here, so we've got the chicken breast, ground chicken, turkey, and go eggs again, IF round steak, top sirloin, ribeye, prime rib, New York, extra lean lamb, bison, buffalo. Right, so we've got elk, salmon, soulfish, tilapia, trout, shrimp, tuna, lobster, crab, tofu, seitan, veggie burgers, plain Greek yogurt. That's what I was looking for breakfast, actually. That's what I was looking for. Okay, cottage cheese, soy foods. You got your protein powder, like supplements. All right, so right now I'm tempted, like in the morning, like midday. I think I think we can just go with because I'm also looking at like, okay, how much protein does each one of these have, right? So when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, uh, let's go with chicken breast, boneless, skinless chicken breast. That's what we're gonna go with. Okay, very straightforward. Okay, so we're gonna go boneless, skinless chicken breast. Okay, so I want to go an English version. Okay, so 4 ounces, grams. So we're looking at this one. I had 200 grams. So I'm going to see, okay, 200 grams. And I'm going to go number of servings. Okay, so nutritional info. Okay, boom. So we've got that. Add to food library. Okay, boom. Okay, so I'm actually one serving of, no, so we're going to go 200 grams of boneless, skinless. So that's about 35 grams of protein with that one. So this is 39. So this is like very comparable, right? So when you're looking at the calories, okay, 441, this is 582. So yeah, so which makes sense because this is like 39 grams of protein, just a little bit more. And you have this one with a little bit less. And so different brands will also have like different calories as well. So it's always important to double check the brand that you're using, that you end up buying and scan it, check it to see if it matches, right? So, and most times you can scan it, you can search for it in the database, very specific to the brand that you buy, and it will give you the exact breakdown for the nutritional facts and nutritional values. And so the next part that you want to do is think about, okay, chicken breast. How did I cook the chicken breast? Okay, did you put it in the stove? Did you bake it? How did you do it? Like, did you add a bit of oil? And potentially you've used a bit of oil. I imagine you're not going to eat like just like dry chicken breast. And you've probably added like spices. If you add condiments, yes, you want to track that. But if you're just using like spices, it's not going to matter much because most spices are 0 calories and they mainly contribute towards your sodium. So right now, I'm going to pick an oil that you might have used for making your chicken. And this is likely going to be one of these oils. So most likely could be, I don't know, coconut oil, maybe grass-fed ghee. Grass-fed ghee is pretty good. It's pretty good. Or salted butter could be that. Virgin oil could be that too. Or avocado could be good, right? So let's just say maybe it's salted butter. You made some chicken with some salted butter. Let's see, because that gives it some flavor, some good flavor. Okay, so we're gonna go salted butter. Okay, so salted butter, 1 tablespoon. Yeah, sure, we could say maybe 1 tablespoon, depending on how much you actually use, like quantity. If you're doing it in bulk, you can you can actually take the entire amount that you used and then you split it up depending on how many meals you end up making. So for example, if you use like 3 4 tablespoons and you have like 3 4 chicken breasts, then you can just take the full amount and then just split it. You can just put 1 1 1. Or if you made 5 meals out of that, you divide it by 5. Whatever the total amount is, you divide it by 5. So depending on how many meals you actually got from it. So in this case, we're just going to say, okay, 1 tablespoon for making that one chicken breast. So we're going to add that to our diary. Boom. And then now we're going to look for our carb, right? Because we've got our protein, we've got our fats now. So we're going to look for our carb. And let's see. What carb will be good for this one? Because she's trying to hit high calories. So I'm going to try find something that has high calories and also gets her to a goal faster. So here I'm seeing brown rice. So maybe let's go brown rice. Let's see what brown rice does for her. Okay, so homemade brown rice. So we're going with 150 grams. Let's see. Okay, let's just say 1 cup cooked. Um, let's see. Okay, maybe let's go one whole grain. What? Okay. So this is weird. So right now it's using like liquid measurements. So this is other thing to like pick out to see, okay, what do you use? So something like this is kind of throwing us off depending on how you're measuring everything, right? So I'm gonna pick something that makes sense, that has measurements that make sense. So like let's say for example here, I'm gonna find grams. So I picked an option that has grams. So now with the grams, I'm gonna go add. Oh, I should add it here, like how many we're adding. Should have been 150. 150. Okay, so we've got 150. So we've got about 37. We've got 17, 38, and 5, 33 sodium. Okay, so this is a good lunch, right? So she's been working, she's eaten something. Now I'm gonna pick a fruit. So let's see what fruit we can add. Or veggies. Let's see. Yeah, she needs veggies in a diet. So we're gonna see what's typical. Let's go with your standard stuff. Okay, so let's go broccoli. Let's just say broccoli. Let's just say, right? You can add anything, really. You can add anything. So we're going to add some broccoli into the diet. Let's see, we're going to add, let's see, 1 cup of broccoli. Broccoli, 1 cup. Boom. So she's got 1 cup of broccoli. Okay, boom. So this is lunch. And we want to see what she has. Okay, so this is one lunch. Maybe we can add some fruit. Let's say maybe it's an apple, maybe, let's say. That's if you like apples, right? Very simple, straightforward meal plan. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, right? So, uh, okay, so 1 apple, boom. Mm, Medium, one medium. Okay, so let's see. So you see the difference here. You've got 120 calories. You've got one that's 80 calories. So depending on the apple, you also still want to double check to see which apple you're using. So now we've got our breakfast, we've got our lunch, we've got our breakfast, we've got our lunch. And with our breakfast and lunch, we're already halfway, right, with our calories. So we're halfway. Our carbs, 120. We've covered some good ground. So that's carbs, 120 grams, fats, 45 grams, protein, 92 grams. And yeah, I think this is pretty good. So this is pretty good. So we're halfway through the day and we still have like 987, right? So which means that most of our calories now at this point, we've eaten quite a bit now, right? This is lunchtime. And our energy stores are good. And if she's going to hit the gym after work, for example, she's eaten 2 meals that have helped her stay full throughout the day. And maybe at this point, she can either eat another meal before she goes to the gym. So it could be like a snack before the gym, or it could be her dinner. She goes to the gym and then she just eats a snack after, just to replenish her stores after working out. So this is the part that makes it interesting, because we now have to figure out, okay, how do we build 2 meals that will help her hit 987, excuse me, and hit a protein goal. That's number one priority. Number two is carbs, and the fats are just going to fall in place just by default. Okay, so now we're going to go add food for dinner. Oh, let's go back. Let's save this meal. I want to remember this meal. So this is going to be brown rice and chicken breast. Right. So I save a meal. So it's brown rice plus, or you could put, plus apple. Right. So you've got that. So I'm going to save the meal. So that's already saved. So you don't have to keep doing this again, like looking for the same food, figuring out like how much am I adding. So you just do this and you save the meal. It's done. Right. So this is really it. Like it's not that complicated. Okay, so now dinner. Coming to dinner now, we're gonna look at, okay, protein. So you're gonna pick what protein you want to have. Let's say you want to have some salmon. Okay, salmon. uh, Okay, salmon, salmon, salmon. Okay, so salmon, you pick the salmon that you're gonna have, one fillet, and let's see, nutritional value for one fillet is gonna be protein 36 grams, right? You're gonna have that. So let's say one fillet, so you're good. So I'm gonna add that to a meal, right? So you're eating salmon, and then we're gonna go and add our oil. So maybe we've used, let's say you've used salted butter again. Just gonna type it in there. Okay, so you've used salted butter again, and this time maybe we'll have a sweet potato, right? So let's have a sweet potato. Sweet potato. Well, no, let's not have a sweet potato because I'm seeing here we have less carbs in the sweet potato. So I'm not gonna pick this one if I'm trying to gain weight. I'm gonna go maybe the next one. So I'm gonna look at calories and I'm gonna look at the carbs to see, okay, which option has a bit more calories, right? So like not all food is made equal. So you can have the same amounts, like so let's say for example, you've got white rice, you've got brown rice, but your calories are different, right? And the carbs that you have in each food group, in each food. So it doesn't mean that because it's a carb, each carb that you have for the same amount is going to have the same amount of carbs, right? So same thing with yams. Yams, 150, comparable to white rice, but you're going to have brown rice will have a little bit more calories than white rice, basmati specifically. Because if you now look at like different types of white rice, they also have different amount of calories as well. And you want to keep track of that. So don't just think that it's all the same. Okay, so I'm going to take white rice. Let's see white rice this time. Hmm. Okay, so let's go. Maybe you'll go uh, jasmine. Okay, let's go. What do we say? We're looking at jasmine. Let's go. Okay, so if this is, let's go. Let's just say maybe you've had, let's say basmati rice. Okay, so I'm going to put cooked. Let's see if we get something. Okay, so this is, so you see the green check marks disappeared. So I'm going to go back to basmati. I'm going to go, this is one serving, 1 cup. This is usually uncooked. So that's a good thing to think about. Like, is this cooked or is it uncooked? Because like the weight for rice changes when you cook it because it absorbs a lot of water. So you always want to make sure that you know if it's cooked or if it's uncooked. So if you go like that, so I'm going to go add to library, add to meal. So that's dinner. So now for dinner, I think we've done a pretty good job. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We're moving, right? So now we've got a salmon, we've got a batter for cooking, and 540 calories, 37 grams. We've got 37 grams of carbs, 26 grams of fat, and 39 grams of protein. So as you can tell, this is like pretty straightforward. So that's done. And the next thing, we've got that meal right there. So because we've done that, I think we're golden, because now the next thing that Emily just needs to do for for her diet is, let's just say she's gone to the gym. She's now going to the gym after dinner. Now she needs to replenish her glycogen stores in her body and her muscles. So she now needs to replenish. Okay. Oh, let's not forget that. Let's see. Quick tools. I'm going to remember this meal. So we're going to go white rice, basmati, rice, and salmon. So if your groceries are the same, you buy the same food, you always know, like, okay, your meals already tracked right now. So you have them set up for you right now. So you don't have to think too much about it. You just go and just get your groceries, come back, use the same measuring cups, measuring spoons, use your scale, and just do the same thing. And you just stick with it. You don't have to change too much. And then now we're going to go snacks. Okay, so snacks. Let's say she's done. I want to go see, okay, what could be the snacks that she can have? Let's go Greek yogurt. Let's go plain Greek yogurt, 0% fat, or with some fat. Doesn't really matter for her because she's trying to gain some weight. Okay, let's just go no fat. Let's just say Greek yogurt, no fat, and add 2 calories. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some honey, some organic honey. Ooh, organic honey. Okay, so we're going to go organic honey, raw and organic honey. Okay, so it could be 1 tablespoon. So depending on how sweet you like your food, you could go 1 tablespoon. Technically, she's got room, she's got margin. She could go 2 tablespoons. Right, so let's keep it at one. And maybe, let's see, what else could she add? Maybe some fruit. Let's see what fruit she could add. Ooh, okay. So got apple, mixed berries, strawberries, um, blueberries. Those are all options. So let's see how much she needs to cover. So she's got 26 grams of carbs, 25 grams of protein, right? So she could actually go like 2 cups, right? 2 cups of Greek yogurt to actually hit the goal. And she'll be right there. So maybe that's what we'll do. Let's see. But once we pick our carb, because we want to hit 26, we want to hit this 26 here. So if she's going to hit 26, 26 grams. Okay, so she could do any of these. Let's go frozen mixed berries. That could be a thing. That could be a thing. Definitely. That could be a thing. Okay, such. And how many do we want to have? 1 cup. 1 cup. 1 cup. Okay, so that's a Kirkland brand. Okay. Okay, so this one is about 70 calories, carbs 17. So let's say 1.5 grams, 1.5 cups. So a cup and a half. Okay. Boom. So add So with a cup and a half, she's 26. Okay, she's a bit over. Okay, so maybe not a cup and a half. Let's just go 1 cup. Okay, so with 1 cup, so she's right on the money with the carbs right there. And then she also needs a bit more of the fats and she needs a bit more of the protein. So I think this, we're going to change the option now. So this is the good part. So now we see, okay, Greek yogurt, it's good. And we just want to tap a bit more into the fats and the protein. So we're going to go 2% fat, Greek yogurt. So we're going to remove this Greek yogurt right now. And we are going to pick a different type of Greek yogurt. So the 0% fat might be good for like weight loss. But right now, we're going to take that 2%. What is that, 2%? Okay. So I kind of like this one, the vanilla reduced fat, 2%. Let's see, nutritional value. Okay, 21 grams. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, so this one might be good. Let's see, add. Okay, now let's go back. Let's see Greek yogurt. We had our option, plain Greek yogurt. That's what we need to look for. I don't like that one. Because at the end of the day, she's also trying to lose weight. So it's not going to matter as much for her because she's trying to gain weight. So Emily's going to try and gain weight and it's not going to matter as much because she's looking to gain weight. So now we want to balance that. So she's good because now it's not bad because carbs are over by 3 grams, which is still fine. You can be over by plus or minus like 10 grams. It's fine, like, or plus or minus 100 calories. Mainly the calories is what's going to matter, like plus or minus 100 calories. So it should be fine for her. And then you adjust as you keep going. So now this Greek yogurt, I'm going to go, let's add 1.5. Let's see 1.5. What does that give us? That's pretty good. Let's see. So protein, fats, we're pretty close. We are pretty close. So what can we add? What can we add? Maybe let's see if we go 2 cups of Greek yogurt. What do we get? Okay, boom. This is it. I think this is it. This is a pretty good meal plan right now, as you can tell. This is a pretty good meal plan. So we hit the calorie goal. She's looking to gain weight. So, which is good that we're slightly over, not too over. The carbs a little bit more, right? So the fats, 80, they're still close, very close, which is still fine. It's good. And our protein is 181, so we're still fine. We're still good because the protein goal, we hit that goal. And our sodium was still above the sodium. She might add some salt, gives her room, like if she wants to add more flavor, seasoning. So we didn't calculate the seasoning. So that leaves room and margin for the seasoning right there. And we've got our sugar. So obviously, like sugar, some things will also have a bit of sugar. Some of the spices and seasonings might have a bit of sugar. So it's not going to matter too much. Like, so she's going to hit the goal. So if you tracked her seasonings, like, bitch, she would hit that. So uh, this is how you customize it and build a meal plan. So now we're going to remember this meal as What's the snack? Greek yogurt and berries with honey. You can go with honey. Right. So now we've got that meal. Oh, that meal is saved. So Tuesday, so Monday was set. We've got our meal for Monday. Excuse me. And then obviously, like with water consumption, you can add how much water you're having in a day. And yeah, and then like today's water total, you can add that. You can add notes, right? If you want to add notes, you can just come and write notes for this. And if you wanted, you can, view a full printable meal plan. So like right there. So that's already set up for you. So you can have that and you're good. You're set. So you've got anything that you want to show, like you can create, your diet, everything is set. So like everything is broken down for you. You're good to go. And then when you come back, right, if we come back tomorrow, we're like, okay, copy from, it can go copy. Let's go tomorrow, add food. Okay, yeah, so that's add food. So now I'm going to go add food, my foods. Is not, oh, so the foods, I didn't add personal foods. So I'm going to go my meals and my meals will be here. So as you can tell, like if I'm coming back again, so this week, let's say I'm just planning for this week, I can just say, okay, add, right, breakfast, and then lunch, I can come back. Now I'm coming back to my meals again. I can just say, okay, what meal am I having? Maybe I want to swap the foods that I had, like my dinner becomes my lunch becomes my dinner. So whichever one you want to pick, right? So if I've got my meals set up here, I've saved them. So now I've got my basmati, and these are now your meals, but they're also recipes, right? So this is the other part. Because one thing, right? The one thing that then makes it hard for people to hit their goals is that they give up because they're like, okay, I'm eating these meals. Okay, I've created this custom plan. I've got this meal plan. Okay, I've got my meals, but I just feel like they're boring, right? Because this is just us picking stuff. But you're like, okay, this is boring. What do I do? Right. So the other option that I've done and that I've created for you is actually having recipes. So imagine just plugging and playing different recipes just in your like in your kitchen. You just pick a recipe, you just do it. All you need to do is just pick the recipe that you want, the food that you want. So this is the recipes that you can pick. So with instructions on how to cook, and this gives you let's see, let me come back here. Yeah. So this gives you, so we've got over 69 recipes in here, right? So this is a recipe guide. Over 69 recipes. So like if you want smoothies, you get the smoothies, right? So if you want like an actual breakfast, you also get your breakfast. You get hard-boiled eggs. If you want your cottage cheese with pineapple chunks, you want your tuna salad, your wraps, and protein smoothies, turkey roll-ups, all of these meals that you have. You've got your quinoa wrap, you've got your quinoa breakfast. No, this was spinach, egg, spinach feta omelet, cottage cheese, and fruit plate. Got your protein pancakes, avocado and toast. So everything already done for you. I show you like, okay, how to prep them, how to cook them, the serving sizes, and I break down the calories, the protein, and the carbs as well with the fat. And so these are also just giving you that range to know like, okay, if I'm going to make this meal and use this recipe, how much am I actually going to eat in terms of calories, your macros, and then you can also just verify with the ingredients that you actually buy. So that makes it easier, but it makes it easy for you to like have a variety of different foods that you want. So this is like a recipe book, and I've got like maybe 4 or 5 different recipe books as well on the site. So you can pick any of the recipe books. Everything is calculated for you. So you can just go pick whichever one that you want with, I think in total there's like over 100 recipes that you can find, and everything is already done for you. And what you just have to do is just go into like MyFitnessPal and just like track the actual brands that you buy so that you know if you're hitting your target or not. But at the same time, if you don't like all of that, right, you can be rest assured that if you just use these ingredients, right, with the same amounts, you follow the instructions for these recipes, you're still going to hit your goal. You don't have to like look at the MyFitnessPal app. If you don't like this, you're like, hey, this is still too much work. You can just get a recipe and just use that recipe. Your calories, your macros are already there for you, done for you, calculated for you. All you have to do is just step into the kitchen and just cook. And the moment you just follow through, if you want to eat a little bit extra, you feel like you like a meal, you just want to add a bit more quantity, you can just double, right? And at least you know exactly how much you're eating by measuring the same food using these measurements, right? So you already know, like, okay, if I'm trying to eat like a tofu scramble, half cup of firm tofu with some vegetables like bell peppers, onion, spinach, right? And 1 teaspoon of olive oil. You're looking at like 200 to 250 calories, 15 to 20 grams of protein, carbs, you're looking at 10 to 15, and fats, you're looking at 12 to 15. So already you know, right? The only thing that you need to probably figure out is like, okay, for me to lose weight, for me to gain weight, what is the calorie range that I need to be in? But you already have healthy meals with food that gives you the nutritions that you need. So you don't have to order food and you don't have to worry about like, okay, what am I going to eat today? And is the food going to taste good? Because you have recipes that are already done for you. So you can look at this. You also have like lunch. We've got lunches, right? Different foods that you can eat for your lunch. And you also have dinner, right? So you've got some bowls as well, like salads. And then you've got your grilled lemon herb chicken with quinoa, steamed veggies, right? You have all of this. You've got your salmon, asparagus with sweet potato. You've got your turkey and spinach stuffed bell peppers, right? So there's a lot of recipes that you'll find in here. Pesto zucchini noodles with grilled shrimp and a lot of tasty recipes. Chicken, black bean burrito bowl. Oh, oh, miso glazed cod with stir fried bok choy and brown rice. Ooh, all the meals, different cuisines, different tastes, different flavors. All of this is ready for you, all broken down for you. Just ingredients. All you have to do is plug and play. And so that's if you find that, okay, using MyFitnessPal can be a little bit daunting. If you're like, okay, this is confusing, I don't know what to do. You've got the option. If you want to create them for yourself and create meal plans that work, that get you results, this is also what you do with MyFitnessPal. Because MyFitnessPal, you're going to be very certain because it gives you the breakdown, you get the actual numbers, you have them in a tracker, and it does it for you. So this is how you really do it. And this is what separates people who get results and people who say, why am I not getting results? I've been trying to lose weight. I've been trying to gain weight and I'm not getting results. It's because they're not following this. This is the most and surest way for you to get results just by following this. This is what's been missing in your life. If you haven't been getting results from your diet, from anything that you're doing, it's because you're not following a plan that actually works for you, that's customized, that works for you, and that works for your budget. Because that's also another important thing. It's making sure that it works for your budget. So I believe in sharing all of this information because it's free already. It's free information. But to make it make sense to a lot of people, sometimes they get confused with so much information coming from left, right, and center. And they're confused, like, okay, can I eat this? Can I not eat this? And I'm like, no, like, here's everything put together, compiled for you, so that you don't have to worry about, oh, this or that, right? And if there's something new that you're like, okay, I want to try this, it's fine. We are making room for you to try different things as long as you know you have the foundation, you're tracking, you can see the results, you track to see if it works or not. And the last thing that I want you to do is go out there and try taking these GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, and all these other drugs that are just coming out, like what's Wegovy, and those are actually not good for you. These are new drugs that are like on the market right now, and because they're new, they're technically still going through trials. They're still new. There's hype around these drugs. It's not that yeah, they're getting your results right now. But what if they mess up your hormones? What if they mess up your reproductive system? We don't know what happens, because you also hear about, like, okay, some things, or some kids are getting born, or they've been, like, I think there's a specific timeline that they were tracking, that they said kids were starting to have autism. So you don't know what are the consequences, or what are the causes of different things that might happen even to your kids. And that's also, like, you might have kids already. You're like, okay, like, I don't need to have kids, and I don't care. But I'm just saying, caution, because you also don't know how these medications will interact with a different medication. Maybe you're on, like, diabetes medication, or you're on, like, hypertension medication. You don't know how they interact. There hasn't been enough time for people to say, oh, okay, this really works and there are no side effects. So just be cautious. Like, you don't need all of those other things to, like, bypass the hard work. It's not hard work. It's just knowing what to do, really, at the end of the day. Because once you have this, it's just a matter of, like, clicking buttons, like, okay, boom, this is what I do. Boom, this is what I do. It's that simple. So you don't have to worry about those medications, because they actually end up wrecking your your health. So don't go for it right away. Let time pass, 5, 10 years, let it pass. Let them figure out, like, okay, does this actually work? Because the last thing that you want to do is ruin your health because you try to go and take Ozempic or Wegovy or some GLP-1 drug. The work is yeah, like, this is where it is. Like, we talked about, like, working out, like, how to build a workout plan, and this is the other piece. This is, like, very, very pivotal and very important to understand, like, the nutrition side. Okay, how do you track your food? How do you build a diet plan or meal plan? And how do you make sure that you can stick with it, right? If you're someone who likes variety, like, yeah, like, you've got options. You've got options. But this is not going to work if you're someone who's like, I don't even want to cook. I'm lazy. I don't want to cook. It's going to be hard for you. I'll be honest with you. Because that now comes to the habits. That now comes to your mindset formation. What are you giving up? by just ordering food because you're likely going to spend a lot more money than someone who's actually making homemade meals. And maybe you're better off hiring a chef to do it for you than to just order out. You could hire a part-time chef, or there are actually like different meal planning services that make the meals, like all the stuff that we've talked about today. They would actually make the meals for you and deliver them to your doorstep. That could be another option. If you're so busy or if you don't like cooking, you could do that. Or you could take a cooking class and learn how to cook. Invest in your health. Do not try take shortcuts. Do not try take shortcuts and take these drugs. Do not do it. I worked in insurance for over 5 years, close to six, actually close to 7 years. I've seen health claims come in. I've seen the behind the scenes of what's happening. When Ozempic first came out, I saw it. I saw the pattern. I saw the trend. And trust me, there is, it's, I can't say too much right now in this video because that's not what it's for. But this is just a warning to you to say, do not rely and depend on these GLP-1s because there's also like pharmaceutical companies that are dependent on you taking these drugs because they're giving you that magic pill that everyone has been wondering and asking for I don't know how many years now because you cannot you cannot bypass principles of the world and try and make shortcuts, and it's just not going to work. The body doesn't work that way. The body has its natural way that it actually helps you manage weight, fight off sickness, fight off disease. Sure, you can take some sort of like support from some of these pharmaceuticals. Like I'm not saying like all of them don't work, but take caution. There's certain things like especially lifestyle choices that we can control. Unless if you're like, I need a medical intervention today because I don't know if my heart's gonna keep pumping in the next month or two, or your diabetes is like out of control and you need some support, weight management support, and your doctor's been telling you that. Maybe, maybe that's the time to consider that to help you, but also for a period of time. Do not then depend on them. Do not then depend on them because yeah, it's not the best thing. I'll do a more in-depth video on this topic because it's something that I think is not being talked about enough. And it needs to be talked about enough because there's so much hype towards Ozempic. And you need to take a moment to really think about it. Think about what you're giving up. So again, coming back, this is how you create your meal plans. This is how you can create your own custom recipes. And I've got recipes and meal plans on the website, so you can go check them out at natemlambo.com/store. You can grab a program for your diet, for nutrition. If you want workout plans, training programs, you can also find them there. And if you have any questions, if you also need more in-depth coaching or assessment of like where you are, you can let me know and shoot me an email at my personal email, or you can shoot me a, you can comment in the, uh, you can comment below, and I can also reach out to you. We can set something up, but you do it the proper way. If you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, if you're doing for lifestyle, like you're into fitness, you're doing for this for lifestyle, perfect, great. But if you're trying to lose weight, a ton of weight, and you think about taking pharmaceuticals, just pause, talk to me before you go down that path. Talk to me. We can talk about it. Talk to me, and we can figure something out. So, again, thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to chatting with you next tomorrow. So this week we're going to try and see if we can actually do a stream every single day. Last week was a bit harder. Last week had a few more things that I wanted to get to. So it was a bit harder to just schedule everything. But this week I'm going to be scheduling the streams. Hopefully I'll have the streams ready and scheduled by ahead of time, at least a day ahead of time. So, yeah, so make sure that you look forward to the next stream. And we're going to be looking at nutrition again tomorrow. And most likely, we're going to be looking at the Bible diet and the different foods that are found in the Bible and what we can actually add to a diet to nourish our bodies and heal our bodies. Because the food, when we eat real food, that's the purpose of real food, is to nourish us and heal our bodies from the inside. Because our bodies have intelligence, they can actually do a lot of things. So it's about eating very nutritious food that can fight off disease and sickness and help us live a thriving and a full life. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow and I'll see you. Take care.